Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool, and today we're going to talk tape. Most familiar obviously with masking tape and kind of the Scotch tape or transparent tape. Those are where most people start learning about this kind of strip adhesive. The way things like this work, down at the molecular level is two ways. One is kind of this electrostatic system that actually has kind of polarized molecules or dipole molecules, so it's kind of like magnets sticking to things, and you can release them, stick them, release them, stick them. And then there's another kind of chemical system that uses a vasoelastic material that's like you push down on the tape and it squeezes this kind of semi-viscous fluid into cracks, at the microscopic level, the molecular level, and then when you release the pressure, the chemicals in the adhesive basically turn back to a solid. They stop flowing and then they stick. The tapes that actually have more of a leaning towards the electromagnetic side, popular ones are masking tapes like these. They actually can generally be removed and reapplied until they get too much other debris and dust, etc. on the adhesive. Whereas other kinds of tapes, especially if you look at the kind of the classic duct tape, they actually have the vasoelastic material, so you can lay it on, very gently, and it's got enough electrostatic connection to sort of stay where you want. But once you start pushing down on it hard, you actually start to cause the flow of the chemical, which sticks down into these microscopic pores, which makes removal quite difficult. Or once you do remove it, it just doesn't stick again. You've already sort of used up what it's capable of. So there's duct tape. Duct tape. If you want duct tape, you actually have to get the duct tape brand. And so these are kind of the industry standard, sort of the silver duct tape. But better than duct tape might be Gorilla tape. And Gorilla tape actually comes in a bunch of different sizes. This is one of my favorite sizes for Gorilla tape. Very handy. It actually is tremendously strong compared to duct tape, and it's got more of a long-term material on the top, whereas this starts to disintegrate in sunlight, and over time this seems to last a lot longer. And the stick is a little bit different, so Gorilla tape's actually quite good. And if you want something even stronger than Gorilla tape, of course, we've got our T-Rex tape. This stuff's crazy, but that's if you want this kind of tape. There are lots of other kinds of tape, and I want to bring a few of those to your attention. This is another version of duct tape that actually has many more fibers in it. So see if we can see that. So this particular kind, they call it tough duct tape, which is going after kind of the T-Rex and Gorilla market. They've got a better UV preventative coating on it. And this particular stuff, it's somewhat similar, as you might have seen, to strapping tape, which is this kind of tape here. We use that for mailing things, which has a lot of fibers in it, and those fibers make it extremely difficult to tear. So you can get duct tape that's fibrous. Obviously, there are variations on your electrical tape. Instead of the kind of the standard black, which isn't very exciting, here's a 3M black or Scotch black. You can buy it in different colors, which allows you to code things. And this stuff, it says pressure-sensitive vinyl tape. The pressure-sensitive part means that actually once you kind of squeeze this stuff on, you get that viscoelastic effect taking place. When that happens, it may be difficult to get off of the wires, say you wrapped it on, or it actually might just tear. That's why you can't use something like masking tape, because it just falls off. Another tape that we're pretty familiar with is sort of the Scotch tape on steroids, and that has to do with this very large, super thick, super strong packaging tape that's transparent. And I use this for a lot of different things. Even used it for car repairs. It's not the best, but it's sometimes what you have, and that seems to be a general rule of thumb with tape, is you use what's in front of you, which is why I see so many people using masking tape for absolutely the wrong purpose. This is for masking things. It means you're, say for painting or for detail work where you're trying to protect a surface. I tend to go with this painter's tape instead of masking tape, but they both are quite handy, just they're highly limited. You can get the strapping tape, obviously in smaller rolls. This stuff is super strong and actually makes a pretty decent repair tape if you don't have your Gorilla tape. And then you can go directly to repair tapes. Loctite makes one, but Rescue Tape's my favorite for this. And what this stuff is essentially a kind of a silicone, stretchy silicone with an adhesive back that primarily sticks to itself rather than sticking to the actual material. But you can get it to stick to that. So you take off this protective coating here, and it's kind of rubbery. Notice it's not sticking to my fingers really, but it sticks to itself quite well, especially if you wrap it and add a little bit of a stretch to it. Now what's amazing about this stuff, as it says, is it will take a huge amount of pressure, very high temperatures, and it also works as a electrical insulator. And this stuff comes in all kinds of different colors. I've got orange and green here. It comes with blue, white, black. This is an excellent product to have in your kind of your go bag, your emergency bag in your car, because you can use it for repairs. And then Loctite makes their go-to wrap, which is very similar, but it uses more of the transparent look rather than a color coding look. So basically you just kind of wrap it on like an ace bandage, nice and strong, and the stuff does actually work. It's not cheap. These are about 10 bucks for one of these rolls, but you know, if you bust a radiator belt or need to fabricate something else, it's pretty handy stuff. And then if you really want to kind of crank up the volume on this, this is Versatape. This is what we use a lot of times for significant repairs, emergency repairs, say with RVs, campers, etc. You can use it around the house too. And it actually is a waterproof tape that allows you to stick it to the material, you know, wherever you need the repair, in the water or when the material's wet. If you've ever tried to use duct tape on a wet surface, it just doesn't happen. This, you can actually apply it underwater on all kinds of different surfaces. It's pretty nasty stuff. I mean, it's strong. Gutters, galvanized pipe, poly sheeting, PE fuel hoses, vinyl siding, aluminum, copper, glass, wood, foam, does everything. It's not cheap, but it's huge, and you could basically fabricate a roof with this stuff in the rain. So that's one of the reasons that the Versatape is so handy, and it should be in every toolbox for anyone who's working on campers and RVs where you might damage your roof or bust out some metal or wood while you're on the road. Anyway, those are the main ones. Bring one other thing just to think about. This is, I mean, you're looking at over ½ an inch thick here, but you can read through it quite well. And I'm, ever since college chemistry class, or organic chem especially, I've been just fascinated by how adhesives actually work. This thing says it is 100 times stronger. I assume they're comparing it to wherever the Scotch tape, which is known for not being strong at all. But it's just wild to think about how clear this stuff is, how strong it is, that we're almost fabricating an invisible material, maybe like Star Trek in the transparent aluminum, if you're old enough to know that reference. But anyway, this stuff just fascinates me. This is the duct tape brand, but just how clear it is and how strong it is, and how well it sticks. So it's kind of crazy where the adhesives are going. So if you're just, hanging out with your masking tape and your Scotch tape and maybe your electrical tape, it's time to up your tape game. because there is so much out there. And this just is a kind of the beginning of what's available in the average tape aisle of a hardware store. So, hope you got some ideas out of this, and with that, Doc out.